Hello. I am coming to you live today to talk about the problem of waiting to be good enough, right? How many of you feel like you're waiting for permission to be fully you or that you're waiting to feel like you are finally enough, that you can go off and do the things that you know you came to this planet to do? Maybe you think, or maybe you're just waiting to see what more life has to offer, right? You've jumped through all the hoops, you've followed all the rules, and now you're sitting there looking around going, this is it, huh? If that is you, I have been there, done that, and I have solutions for you today. I'm going to give you my top 5 strategies for how to stop waiting to live the life you came to the planet to live. So if you don't know me today, don't know me yet, I am Christine Goad. I am the Surfing Your Edge coach. I help people like you get out of your own way and reconnect with your true, magical, powerful selves so you can live the bigger, bolder, more badass life you know you were born for. So if you see anything here today that you enjoy, please please share it with friends. I really want to help as many people as I can, so your support in that would be greatly appreciated. So, as I've said, we are here to talk today about that feeling of waiting to be fully you, that waiting to be in the life you know is really yours and you just can't quite get there yet. So, I'm going to tell you a little story about how I got here, and maybe you'll relate. Today is August 1st, which is the 24th anniversary of the cross-country bike trip I did in 1998, where I was 28 years old, 29 years old. I was overweight, I was asthmatic, I didn't own a bike when I signed up for the trip. It was 3,254 miles, although your mileage may vary. And I was not at all prepared, but I wanted to do this. I wanted an adventure. And I was hoping that somewhere along the ride from Seattle, Washington to Washington, D.C., that I would get quiet enough that the universe would tell me finally where I fit in. I kept asking, like, here are my skills. How do I use these to my greatest advantage to really fulfill my potential, right? I felt like I had so much potential and I wasn't sure which way to focus it. There were so many things I enjoyed and so many things that I could do, and yet none of them by themselves felt like enough. So I went on this cross-country bike trip really, really hoping that the universe and I were going to have a conversation. And along the way, I became much more confident. I became much more relaxed. I was comfortable wherever I was. It felt like everyone was a friend, whether I knew them or not. And I was able to say whatever I truly thought in the moment and didn't have to censor my words or, obviously I tried to be sensitive to people, but I said what I wanted to say. And I felt like for the first time, I really fell in love with myself and felt like I was enough just as I was. I wasn't riding every mile of that trip. I had all kinds of issues. And yet I felt like no matter where I was in that community, I was being my best self and serving. And that was an amazing feeling. And when I set off on this journey, I had quit my job and was hoping to come back and take a job that was the right fit, right? To go find the job or, the work that was the right fit for me. And I just kept riding and pedaling and asking. And on August 1st, which was the final day of the ride, we pedaled up to the Washington Monument on the National Mall in Washington, D.C., and we all said goodbye. And there were 700 plus of us. And it was a very emotional experience. And I was crying because it was over, because I was having to say goodbye to all of these people that I had come to really love. And at the same time, I was really crying because I knew that I was going home with no more information about where I fit on this planet than I had started the ride with. The universe had never spoken to me on that trip and said, oh, you have these skills that fits this box, go jump in that box, you'll be happy for the rest of your life. Never happened. Instead, I was getting a message that said, be you. And I didn't know how to do that. I didn't know how to go to a job interview. And when they asked me why I wanted the job, tell them, tell them what I really thought about why I wanted the job. I felt like I had to really play a role when I went back into the real world. And so I settled into a very severe depression after the end of this ride. I felt like there was the big ride self, and then there was my real self, and the two of them weren't the same person, and they couldn't come together. And yet the life that I wanted, the person that I wanted to be, was just out of reach. And I couldn't figure out how to let her live in the bigger world. And for years after the depression lasted about 2.5 years before I finally started to come out of it and just move forward. Disappointed still that I didn't know who I was, but still searching. I've never stopped searching, which is a good thing. But I kept thinking, I had this phrase in my head about bringing myself home. How do I bring my big ride self home? And I just felt like it was an impossible thing. So fast forward, that was 1998 going into the early 2000s. In 2001, I moved to North Carolina and started different kinds of work. And in about 2005, I figured out that I wanted to have a life where I could be nomadic, live anywhere I wanted, work from anywhere I wanted, and that I could help people. That's all I knew. And I started doing a ton of research on how to make that happen. And I spent 10 years spinning my wheels, thinking, oh, I've got to learn more. I've got to know more. I've got to be more, right? I've got to be more capable. I've got to have this skill or that certificate or whatever the more out there was that I didn't yet have. And I also wanted to do it all perfectly because I was smart, I was capable. I should be able to do it all in my head, figure out where I wanted to be, where I wanted to go, and figure out all of the steps so that I wasn't wasting any time, wasn't wasting any money that I didn't need to spend, so that I wasn't making any public mistakes so that people could laugh at me. I was gonna figure it all out in my head and then execute it perfectly. And voila, there was gonna be this beautiful new life that I was envisioning. And unfortunately, I just kept seeing a black wall, a big brick wall. I could kind of see a little bit what was on the other side, but I could not see my way around it, over it, under it. It was just a big wall. And I stopped being able to follow through on commitments that I made to myself. I could follow through on commitments I made to other people. But when it came to my own commitments to myself, when I get these things accomplished in my job, I'm going to leave and start my own business. That deadline rolled forward and forward and forward and forward until finally my husband and I needed to my husband moved into a new job and we needed to move out of state. And that was when I was finally, after 10 years, able to have some distance and really be like, okay, this is my opportunity. The universe wanted me to go faster, I think, but I just was dragging my feet. And finally the universe said, okay, fine, here, you're going to have to do it. We're tired of waiting around for you. So If you can identify with any of that, with feeling like you don't know where to plug in, you've got more to give, and you don't know how to use it, or you don't even know what it is that you have to give and what skills you want to bring, but you know that there's more for you. You can be doing more, you could be loving your life more. If that is you, I have strategies that are going to help you get there faster. I don't want you sitting around waiting for 20 years. Oh, I didn't even tell you this part. This is the best part. So I did start my coaching business in 2015. And in 2018, I wanted to commemorate the 20th anniversary of the Big Ride. And I wanted to do something big and scary. I didn't have the ability to take a full summer off and ride across the country again on my own. So I created the Surfing Your Edge program. And basically, I decided that I wanted to do something big and scary. And the scariest thing I could think of was learning to surf. So why not take a bunch of other people with me and be scared together, and then come home and use the energy and the lessons and the fun of learning to surf to actually change things in our lives at home make our lives bigger and bolder and more badass. And as I was sitting there writing out the copy for the website that was going to advertise this program and this amazing retreat in Panama where we were going to surf, it finally occurred to me that the program I created, the Surfing Your Edge experience, was the solution that I was looking for when I finished the Big Ride. I really needed someone to help me figure out who I was, to make sure that I was asking the right questions, to remind me that all of life is the Big Ride, that everything can be fun, every day can be fun, and to really see myself for who I truly am and what I could share with the world. I needed that. I couldn't find it. So 20 years later, I finally created it. And I'm super excited that I've been able to lead the Surfing Your Edge experience retreats 2 years in a row, right up until COVID hit. And then things had to shift a little bit. But I am going to give you now my top 5 strategies for how to get moving faster if you feel like you're stuck, if you're waiting for permission, if you're looking for more. So I hope you're ready. Here we go with number 1. The first one is feel good first. This is huge. Before you take any action, it makes sense to get into a state of excitement and a statement of calm, a state of peace, a state of just pure happiness, because then you will be able to see possibilities in front of you that you can't see when you're feeling stressed, when you're feeling depressed. I mean, seriously, when you're depressed, your possibilities just narrow and narrow and narrow. So if you are depressed, I would find help for you. I would look for help. It's a serious thing, and I want you to get out of that as quickly as possible. So, but if you're not quite depressed and you just want help with feeling good on a daily basis, I have a great gift for you. It's called Flip Your Happy Switch, and you can download that right here. And it will help you on a daily basis. It gives you lots of little suggestions for how to get into a mood where you're feeling really good on a daily basis. And then after you're doing that, you can start looking for the next steps that you need on your journey. So tip number 2, a path is made by walking. This is really the thing that got me moving, aside from the fact that we had to actually physically move. And this means that I thought, like we've already discussed, I could, map it all out in my head and then just follow the plan. And the truth is, life doesn't work that way. A path is made by walking. So in order to get from where I was to where I wanted to be, I had to take a step. right? So you take the first step, you figure out, you look around, you say, how does this feel? Where am I being called next? What feels right? What feels good? What am I excited about? And then you take your next step. And that is how you get from where you are to where you want to be. You have to let go of, well, I say that you have to let go. You you can't necessarily let go. I know that this is something that sticks around for a lot of people, but we have to loosen our grip on the idea of perfection and just realize that staying in action and taking imperfect action is way superior, and staying in motion, right, is way superior to trying to map it all out, figure it all out, and spending a bunch of time spinning our wheels and not actually moving. So get happy first, then take your first step, right? Look around, take your next step, break it down. Don't let it be overwhelming. Don't let it be, don't let yourself stay stuck. Just keep moving forward in the direction that feels good. You will find once you open yourself to actually taking steps, opportunities will appear that you would have never imagined. So just start your walking trip and see where you go. Third is adopt the understanding that you were born to be fully you. I know a lot of people who've come to me have been wondering what their purpose is, right? They all feel like we all feel like we have this purpose on the planet, and some of us feel like we know what that is and others don't. And I want to, again, I want to spur you into action around this by letting you know that your purpose on this planet is to be fully you. And you don't necessarily know who that is right now until you start walking your path. So just trust that your purpose is to be fully you, to be your best self, no matter what that is, no matter how that shows up in the world. You were born for a specific purpose, and that is to be you. That's all there is. And whatever makes you happy, whatever dreams you have, you were given those because they are yours, and you have they're yours. They are meant for you. So if it's a dream that you have the ability to fulfill it. So just go out and be fully you. It's a journey. Okay. So nobody's asking me any questions, so I'm going to keep moving. We are up to number 4, which is ask empowering questions. When I was on the big ride, I was asking the universe to tell me, which box do I fit in? Here are my skills. This is what I love to do. Tell me where I fit in. I'll go jump in that box. And because I was asking that question, I didn't understand the answer, which was be you. I needed to ask a more empowering question. So when you're thinking about big question, where you fit in the world, you need to be asking questions that are going to lead you to answers that are helpful. And I wish at the time that I had had someone say, you know what, that's not the question you should be asking. I didn't actually, put it in the terms of what box do I fit in, but that was basically the structure in my head. So ask open-ended questions. Ask questions that are like, how am I most successful? How am I most happy? What makes me most happy? What do I love? What do people compliment me on? And just ask questions that are going to lead into a positive outcome. So, and I have each of these could be and have been and probably will be, again, their own little conversation. So if you're interested in getting more information about any of these, just let me know. And then finally, we're going to come to get support, because yes, you were born to be you, and you have everything you need in order to get to where you want to go, but you will get there faster and in a more enjoyable manner if you get support from people around you. And actually, this is one of the biggest things that I see keeping women in particular stuck is that people get used to seeing you in certain roles. And when you start to question those roles and think that maybe you want to step out of it into something else, something bigger, bolder, and more badass, the people around you are going to respond to that, and they're going to be like, no, you stay right here where I know you, where I trust you, where I know what to expect. And they're not necessarily going to support the crazy ideas you might have about what your life could be. So if that is true for you, you need to find other people who are expanding their own lives and their own minds in the same kinds of ways that you want to expand. So you can find groups online, you can get a coach, you can, go hang out with people in your local area, but find people who really do see your vision and support it and want to see you succeed and know in their hearts that you can. So those are my 5 tips for how to get moving if you feel like you're waiting for permission. You don't have to wait for anyone's permission. You're born, you're here on this planet, you have a mission. It is yours, go for it. And it is time to get moving. So I'm going to do a real quick, speedy recap of what we've talked about. Ready? All right. So to get moving, if you feel like you're being, excuse me, I rode roller coasters last week and screamed my lungs out. And this is the first time I'm actually doing a major amount of speaking since then. So I apologize for the quality of my voice. So, speedy recap. If you are feeling stuck, like you are waiting for permission from someone else, from the universe, to be fully you, or if you feel like there's more for you that you have not yet found, then these are my biggest tips for getting moving and staying in action. First is feel good first. Take the time every day to get into a mood where you feel confident, happy, excited, and then take inspired action. You will get much better results if you work from a place of feeling good, and you will also see opportunities when you feel good that you won't see any if you're feeling angry or stressed or narrowly focused. So feel good first, and my free gift for helping you to feel good first is flip your happy switch. You can go to that website and download my suggestions for how to feel better in a really quick little tricks to feel better fast. All right, so step number 2 is a path is made by walking. We can't map out our lives and our life's journey in our head and then walk it perfectly. Instead, that will keep you stuck. It will keep you spinning in circles. You'll never feel like you're enough. You'll never feel like you've got the plan perfect. You'll just sit and spin your wheels. So if you keep this in mind, a path is made by walking. That is how to get in action. You take one step in a direction that feels really good and safe, perhaps safe, maybe a little scary, but you take one step. Then you look around and you're like, what feels right next? And you just keep asking yourself that question and feeling into the answers and moving in a direction that feels good and that you think is going to take you in a direction you want to go. There are so many paths to get to your destination. There is no perfect one except for the one that you enjoy. So choose the one that feels good to you, the one that opens up for you, and go and just keep going. Imperfect action is the key. Third, you can stop worrying about your purpose on this planet because your purpose is to be fully you. You came here as a unique individual with unique gifts to share and unique problems that you alone can solve. So go be fully you. Stop looking for your purpose, just know that if you start where you are with what you have and focus on what's right in front of you, you are on the right path and you are fulfilling your purpose. Number 4 is ask empowering questions. If you ask the wrong questions, you get answers that don't help. So for instance, when I was on the cross-country bike trip and I was asking what box do I fit in with these skills, I was asking a question that the universe didn't want to answer. It was giving me the answer of be fully you. And I didn't know how to do that. I didn't understand that answer given the question that I was asking. So ask questions that lead to answers that will support you and be effective, such as, what do I really enjoy? What do I love? What do people really respond to about me? Start asking those kinds of questions. Ask, how am I so happy? And see what answers come up. Ask, how am I so successful? And see what answers come up. Your brain wants to answer any question you ask. So ask it questions like, how did I get to be so successful? And it will go find answers that you can then build on. All right, and finally, number 5 is get support. You want to be surrounded by people who see you for who you truly are and see your vision and want to help you achieve it. So get support, whether it's paid support with a coach or a group program, or it's finding an accountability buddy or a women's group, or even a sporting group that you can get together and make new friends who don't know you in the roles you've already been in and can see you stepping into this new future for yourself that you envision and really want to be there and support you in that. So that is it. Remember, you can grab my free gift, Flip Your Happy Switch, at flipyourhappyswitch.com. I will also put that in the comments. And I will be here again next week. Until then. Oh, and thank you for watching. Thank you for leaving your questions in the comments and letting me know what you'd like more information about, what you found particularly helpful. And I will be back here again next Monday at noon. And until then, I am wishing you wonder. All right, everybody, take care.